Fine, if I let you try one spell, just something weak, and it doesn't work, can we get back to the regular training as usual? Yes. Fine, we can try it. And if it doesn't work, then I'll get back to the stupid paper training. Fine, you little brat. Have it your way. But we're going to do a spell that, well, isn't dangerous. We'll try something non-offensive first. If it's non-offensive, it's less likely that you're going to blow yourself up. After that, Salus instructed Taleon on the symbols required for a basic illusion spell, one that he knew how to perform, that would allow anyone casting it to create an illusion using magic. At which point, Taleon took the effort to draw the seal on the back of one of his hands. He had to be a bit more precise because he had less space to fit it in, and he had to make sure that the ink didn't run, as unlike paper, his skin didn't absorb it so well. Stopping on several attempts to dry the ink, thinking that since it was his body, rather than a sheet of paper, the ink being wet wasn't going to increase the speed or functionality of the process. But eventually he got done with the seal, and it met Salus's approval. Okay, fine. The seal looks good enough to pass, so we can go ahead and try the spell. This is an illusion spell, so what you're going to need to do is focus on what you want to create, the type of illusion. You're going to need to draw that in here on the seal. Illusion spells, when it comes to seals magic, are a little bit trickier. So you're going to have to include an extra word here for the illusion, what you want it to be an illusion of, right here in the form section. Okay, Taleon said, as he looked at the seal, picking the quill back up and beginning to draw a circle and connect the line. Within the circle, he wrote the word dragon. Well, that's going to be a doozy, but since it's non-offensive, the amount of power that you need to produce an illusion of a dragon shouldn't be tough for you to muster. Whether it'll actually work or not is the question. I'm voting not. This is way too weird to actually work. It would basically turn seals magic on its head. Normally, seals work by slowly imbuing the product with magical energy, the paper or metal. But since it's your body, it's already ripe with natural demonic energy. Frankly, I don't know how this is going to work. But kid, I'm standing back. And if your hand blows up or something, once again, don't blame me for it, Salus said, as he began to take some steps back away from Taleon. Okay, kid, this is your show now. Give it a whirl. Let's see how your bright idea works, Mr. Smartass. Yeah, let's see how your bright idea works, Taleon mumbled to himself sarcastically. Stupid teacher breaking down my ideas. I'll show him, Taleon said, extending his hand forward and peering at the back of the seal. So, just direct the energy towards my hand. The seal is on my hand, so it should work, he said, pointing his hand out towards the clearing in the section of the clearing that they were in, giving them a wide berth. Okay, focus. As Taleon began to focus, once again, the silver aura began to gather around his hand. And as before, the symbol that he had drawn on his hand began to alight, beginning to absorb that silver energy. And to basically everyone's astonishment, as the silver glow began to pick up, out in the field, in the clearing, slowly an image began to form. a very sizable projection of a very large dragon. At first, just its feet, then it began to flow out, filling in the gaps. After its feet, its legs, and then its body, its head, its neck, large wings furling out, and finally an extensively long tail. It was a dragon that his mother had showed him illustrations of in a book, and it looked exceptionally real. Taleon got an extraordinarily happy look on his face. "It worked!" he shouted, jumping up and down again. At which point he turned towards his teacher. "See, I told you it would work," he said with a big happy smile on his face, gloating that he was right. Salus, on the other hand, was completely blown away. He simply stood there with his mouth hanging open, staring at the dragon in the field. "Holy crap! It actually worked! I don't believe it," he said, staring at the dragon wide-eyed, beginning to take some steps towards it, looking it over from head to tail. It was massive, nearly 60 foot long, and very vivid, despite the fact that Taleon had never seen a dragon in real life. This projection seemed to be far too accurate. "This is a game changer," Salus said, getting a very serious look on his face, turning towards Taleon and marching his way over, at which point he grabbed his hand. "Taleon, look at me right now," he said, beginning to look at Taleon with a very intense expression. "Understand what I'm about to tell you. You have to keep this secret." "What? Why?" Taleon replied. "Do you have any idea how valuable this information is? This is a game changer in the world of seal magic. If used properly, it could levy you an advantage in combat like nothing that anyone has ever seen before. You could come at people in ways that they don't comprehend with this. Now, your options for magic during combat are basically limitless, able to cast in any genre you want, without the increased requirements. The only thing that's left to question is how to clear the seals and replace them with new ones, or maybe it is possible to create one seal that would allow all magic. Just make it complex, or something of that nature." "I don't know enough about seals magic," he said, releasing Taleon's hand and beginning to pace, gripping his chin as he walked back and forth. "Perhaps a special type of ink, something that washes away more easily, or maybe something that'll fade after a short time of use, or a single use of a spell," Salus said, pacing back and forth rapidly, the gears in his head spinning away. And suddenly, Taleon looked very concerned with his teacher, muttering countless things to himself about ink and seals, complexity and simple things, different types of seals, different types of spells, different types of magic. I wish I knew more about magic. I never expected it to come back and bite me in the ass like this. Damn it. With this open, what you really need is a magical instructor. A demon who's exceptionally capable in the realm of magic and knows about seals magic to a great degree. Damn it. If only that cocky bastard Hamilton was here. That freaking know-it-all. He's a level 10 demonic mage. He'd know exactly what to do. But right now, I bet his hoity-toity ass is flipping through a book with no cares in the world. Meanwhile, I have a student who's just stumbled upon a groundbreaking new facet in magic, never done before, that'll completely rewrite what we think about seals mages, how they're perceived, how they can function in combat. And I just don't have the magical know-how to take full advantage of it. to teach him what he needs. Damn it all! Wait a second. Maybe I can get Hamilton. After all, it's not as if he's a member of the royal family who can't leave or has duties within the kingdom. He's technically barely a part of the kingdom. He's more of a rogue. He's probably off somewhere else. If so, I might be able to get in contact with him, Sailor said, beginning to get a smile on his face. The only question is, how do I do that? Going through regular channels in the demon world is way too risky. Oh, maybe that'll work. Okay, kid, Sailor said, looking over towards Talion. I'm not gonna lie. You just impressed me a great deal. You just stumbled upon something that's gonna change everything. Your magic just became useful in combat, and thus something practical that we can start training with. But honestly, I don't know as far as you can actually push it. So for the time being, we're just going to have to stick with simple things and try to include them within your training. But I'm going to ask your grandmother to get to work on something for me. There's an old friend that I think might be useful. I think getting word to him would be easier and less dangerous. I don't think anyone would ever track it back to me being with you, or alert anybody to your whereabouts. It's just one old friend contacting another old friend. If all goes well, then pretty soon we might be able to have you a magical instructor, someone who could help teach you how to use magic. His strength might actually be a great asset once we begin making the trek back to the demon realm so you can meet up with your parents. But for now, congratulations, kid. You just cast your first magic spell. I mean, you also made an earth-shattering discovery about the nature of magic that you just stumbled upon like a nitwit, and that's going to give you an edge in combat. But I suppose you're a little bit happier about the spell, huh? He said, rolling his eyes. But for the time being, consider your first day's training complete. We're done for the day, kid. I need some time to think about this. It's definitely something that I'm going to have to include in your training. I'm going to have to make some alterations. But one thing's for sure, whether it's dumb luck or a stroke of fate, you are going to be one impressive kid. Rico knew. The stupid master should have listened to Rico. Teacher think he know. But Rico knew all along Master be wonderful, Rico said, running up and beginning to hug tightly onto Talion. Teacher should have had faith, like Rico. Thanks, Rico, Talion replied, feeling a bit uncomfortable with the hug, but lamenting to it, simply letting it happen.